Oh, did you break it?
Good evening. I would like to call to order. Thank you, Mr. Daniele. That's a good sign. I'd like to call to order the regular town board meeting for August 18th, 2016. Visitors, please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman Barnum.
Here.
Councilwoman Hush LeRae. Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Supervisor Seeley.
Present.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
Good evening. We have a few things before we get on with our body of work. We have some great things going on in town and some great upcoming things, as well as a very touching tribute to a wonderful resident to follow. On August 1st, we were thrilled to be joined by representatives from the Irondequoit Soccer Club, Irondequoit Youth Lacrosse, as well as Senator Rich Funke and Assembly Majority Leader Joe Morelli to announce the upcoming construction of 4 new soccer fields at Camp Eastman, our largest town park. Soccer and lacrosse fields, I'll say, athletic fields. This is very exciting. We'll finally give the kids of the town a athletic complex they deserve. It works very nicely off of the ball fields, which are virtually complete in back of Town Hall, which we will be dedicating next month on September 10th. I'll note we've done a lot of work in the past year, started by my predecessor, Supervisor Bello, and the town board continues that work on addressing abandoned zombie homes in Irondequoit. I'm happy to say the state of New York has recently passed a new law enacted to help create a statewide registry to monitor these troubled properties. They've set up a hotline, which I'd like to note, 1-800-342-3736, for residents if they have a zombie home or an abandoned property on their street can call and help populate that registry. Our neighborhood initiative continues. I'm happy to say that in the past month, throughout the month of August and continuing into early September, we will have roughly a dozen new neighborhood associations forming. This is being facilitated by the town, but wouldn't happen if it weren't for people in these neighborhoods coming together. I think this will be great for the long-term health of Irondequoit. It's creating social capital and, above all, bringing people together. I'll note that the Neighborhood Enhancement Program in its second year, small grants neighborhoods can apply for. That grant program is open until August 26th at 5 p.m. For more information, email ihelp@irondequoit.org. If you are home right now, come to Town Hall because shortly after the meeting tonight, we'll have our final movie, Under the Stars. So this is a call for all of our residents watching home now, not on tape delay. If you're on tape delay, don't come to Town Hall. Well, you can always come to Town Hall, but you won't see a movie. Tonight we'll be showing Inside Out. It begins at about 8:30 p.m. August 25th at the Farmers Market is Chamber of Commerce Business Night in Irondequoit. Our representatives from the Irondequoit business community will be here to meet with residents, and you'll have a lot of small business owners interacting with one another, and it's always a good thing to see our business community out and about. On August 31st at 7 p.m., the Irondequoit Conservation Board will be at the Irondequoit Public Library for a presentation on how you can identify street trees in town and help with our growing street tree inventory initiative. If you are curious about solar energy, RockSpot is partnering with the town of Irondequoit. We enacted a partnership last month. RockSpot will be holding a solar assembly at I-Square on Wednesday, August 24th at 5:30, the second floor conference center. This is a great opportunity to learn about whether or not solar energy is something that makes economic sense for you. I think people will be very pleasant to hear that it's much more affordable and you can attain a return on your investment far quicker than you could even several years ago. There'll also be another solar assembly on September 6th at the town library starting at 5:30 p.m. If you've been down to Camp Eastman, the big tent is up. That means September is coming and Oktoberfest in Irondequoit is now near and dear, and it's coming, and we're excited about it. September 9th and 10th, and September 16th and 17th. More information on oktoberfestny.com. And I'll note that the farmers market continues until October 20th. And on September 8th, I'm happy to say that we will be celebrating the year anniversary of our new public library, and Councilman Perticone is going to tell me what time that starts at.
It starts right at 4 o'clock when the market
Gotcha.
starts as well, too. So it'll go all evening from 4 to 8. There'll be stuff going on at the library throughout the evening, right up to 8 p.m. So tune in. They'll have some itinerary and let you know what's going on, stuff for the kids. And they're going to have a cake and everything going on to just celebrate the first year of the opening of the new library.
Terrific. It's hard to believe it's been a year. We're now going to head down to the podium for a very special ceremony, our Good Neighbor Award. I think everyone will be very pleased and leave with a good feeling in their heart. So, board members, please join me at the podium.
Arundecoit values its sense of community, its neighborhoods, its neighbors. And to demonstrate this, the supervisor and town board recognize efforts that are selfless and considerate. And Maria Frisky is the epitome of a good neighbor. And I'll tell you her story. You might have seen it on the news. Maria saw a man on her street collecting bottles and cans. She engaged him in conversation. She brought him more bottles and cans, actually. But she wanted to know about him. And that's what a neighbor does, right? She talked with him, found out some key things. He's 92 years old. How have you been sleeping? How have you been enjoying the summer? Well, not so good. It's really hot at night. Do you have a fan? No. Maria got him a fan. The next thing you know, she kept it rolling. She put it on Facebook. Her friends started sending fans. How many fans altogether now? Over 39? Or
40 fans.
over 40 fans. That's 40 neighbors, right? One-to-one, making a difference. It's so critical to have that feeling when you're in a neighborhood. Every house I've had in Arundecoit, I have felt neighbors, I've had experienced neighbors helping out. So it's selfless because Maria since then has been a very busy woman. Collecting fans, making phone calls, communicating with the location where he lived, which is the Shire for seniors, Shire Senior Living, and helping, and of course becoming the new media darling in a way. So, but consider it because she did it without being asked. And so on behalf of Supervisor Seeley and the town board, I am just thrilled and happy to present this to Maria Frisky, the good neighbor.
Thank you, everybody. I'm accepting this award, not for myself, because I just feel like I did the right thing, but on behalf of everybody who responded to my Facebook post. When I met my neighbor and found out that he didn't have a fan, and I went over to the facility where he lived, I found out most people there didn't have a fan, and they didn't have air conditioning, and that just broke my heart. I put it up on Facebook and said I was going to try to get more fans and bring them over, and it was my friends who responded. Ellison Mayer's here. They own the marina in Arundecoit, and I'm sorry, in Webster. Yes. And Allison went to Lowe's in Webster and bought every fan that they had on the shelves, every box fan that they had on the shelves. We've donated 40 fans so far. When the post started to become viral on Facebook, I realized that people were asking me if they could send me money, and I didn't want to take anybody's money. But I contacted Lifespan, and they were kind enough to open up a fund, which took a load off my mind, but it also offered people an opportunity to be able to donate with a credible organization. a safe organization. So far we've raised $600 for the fan club. We're called the Fan Club on Facebook. We have our own page now. And our goal, once I realized that it wasn't just the facility that was next door to me, there are no regulations in New York State for cooling. The Shire Senior Living Facility is only required to have one common area air conditioned. And what I've found out is in many of the facilities in Monroe County, people are wheeled into the common areas during the day and then brought back up to their rooms at night where they may not have air conditioning or even a fan. And you can imagine during this hot summer how terrible that must have been for them. As we were bringing in fans, the residents were so grateful. The staff was so grateful. When Allison and I brought the big bulk of the fans, the staff had lists of people that they were caring for that they wanted to try to vie to get a fan for. And they started negotiating amongst themselves. And it was determined that the people who lived on the second floor where it was hottest were going to get fans first. But then we had one woman said, I got to get one for my elderly senior across the hall. She says she's boiling. And so they let her have a fan. Well, the good news is the Shire only needs 15 more fans, and we've got them covered. And we don't want to stop there. I mean, if there are other facilities, and we know they are in Monroe County, we'd like to get seniors there who need a fan. There's no reason that any senior should have to sleep in the heat uncomfortably. And these are not just seniors, actually, in these facilities. These are disabled people who need assisted living and mentally ill people who need assisted living. These are people who have fallen through the cracks, people who are schizophrenic or veterans or who were formerly homeless and are elderly. And they need our help, and we're going to help them. So if you'd like to get involved, we do have a Facebook page called The Fan Club, where you can find more updates on things that we'll be doing. There is you can go to Lifespan and make a donation. There's a place where you can note your donation for the fan club, and they will make sure that all the funds go to fans. And I think that's it. But thank you very much. And on behalf of the residents of the Culver Shireton, I thank you.
Sorry, did I crush your back?
Well, that's going to be a tough act to follow up here, but that truly was wonderful. Maria, thank you very much for coming here tonight, and we stand ready to help you get the word out. Look them up on Facebook. If you want, you can call the town offices as well, and we'll direct people how to get more information on this effort. We now move on to public input. We have one individual signed up to speak tonight, but if others wish to speak after him, they may come to the podium. Robert Dates of 40 Delta Terrace. Mr. Dates?
Sorry to break up the warm and fuzzy, but in the past 24 hours, we've had an interesting development at 419, 423 Lakefront, where John, we met John, he came on down and met with some neighbors discussing how he has maybe taken over the deed or the holding of the property. And we are cautiously optimistic that this will begin to be working out. In all due respect, anyone associated with the previous property owner, we still feel a grain of salt and a watchful eye is the best advice here. But we get a good feeling, but to just drop the ball, we just want to be real we want to make sure this is going to be good for this neighborhood. And I'm just hoping that this will work out. We still do have 2 abandoned properties there that are still drawing vagrant activity. So that should be addressed pronto. It's still there. We're still chasing folks out. It happened Monday night. People eyeballing the neighborhood, casing around the place. And in all due respect to John, we have a good feeling, but we want to be cautiously optimistic on this because as smelly and as fishy of political favoritism that we've seen, I don't think it's time to take our eye off it. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Bates, thank you.
I hope some other neighbors can come up and help.
Of course. Would anyone else wish to come up and speak at public input? Okay. Seeing none, we will now move on to the financial report. Comptroller Seeley?
Thank you. The 2016 financial results for the town as of the end of July. Total expenditures and encumbrances are $19,332,000, or 56.6% of budget, lower than the 58.3% of the year that has elapsed. The total is comprised of $16,801,000 of actual expenditures, along with $2,530,000 of encumbrances. Departments are continuing to commit to supplies, commodities, and services that are needed this year. Expenses in the general fund are 54% of budget, $10,795,000, again, below the percent of the year that has elapsed. The breakdown of expenses in the general fund are actual expenditures, $10,083,000, and encumbrances, $711,000. Altogether, the expenses of the highway funds are $3,661,000, 69.7% of budget. The higher than budgeted expenses and those funds primarily result from encumbrances throughout the funds. In Highway 1, encumbrances for gas, fuel, and asphalt are sizable. In Highway 3, for vehicle maintenance, equipment parts, and debt service. In Highway 4, encumbrances and actual expenditures are driven by salt purchases. The library expenses are $1,402,000, 61.3% of budget. The high percentage there results from the debt service expense for the library bond anticipation note. So if you've been following this, you'll note that the actual library expenditure percentage is becoming more closely aligned to the percent of the year that has elapsed. Expenditures of the other major funds are as follows. The sewer fund has expended $2,298,000, 53.2% of budget. Included in those costs is an encumbrance of $246,000 for the purchase of a heavy-duty dump truck. The stormwater drainage expenses total $579,000, 47.9% of budget. And those expenses also contain an encumbrance for a heavy-duty dump truck. $13,410,000 of general fund revenue has been received as of July 31st. It represents 68.1% of that budget. The total $10.6 million of real estate tax is in and has been in for several months. The pilot revenue that is currently due, $168,000, is in as well. Sales tax for January and February totaling $574,000 has been received to date. Also received to date is $180,000 of mortgage tax, which is 25% of that budget, and it represents only 3 months of activity. The major revenue line items, such as franchise cable TV fees and state aid, are not yet due. $207,000 of recreation program fees have been collected and are favorable at 68.8% of budget. And here's a preview for next month. This week, the town received a sales tax check for approximately $900,000, and that will be recorded in next month's report. The town's summary after 7 months, total revenue for the town is $25.1 million, or 76.5% of budget. Real estate taxes total across all funds, all our respective funds, are $16.5 million. And again, that has been in for several months. The library has received $2,215,000, 96.8% of its revenue. The highway funds have received $4,544,000, which is 86.6%. And the sewer has collected 100.3% of budget, $4.3 million of revenue. So this concludes my financial report for the month of July.
Thanks, Annie. Any questions for Comptroller Seeley? Encouraging news on the revenue side, and I liked how you previewed next month. That was exciting. Can I have a motion to accept the financial report?
So
Motion.
moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is accepted. Barb?
Approval of minutes, July 18, 2016, the workshop meeting.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved.
July 21st, 2016, the regular town board meeting.
Have a motion?
Moved.
And a second, Mr. President?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I believe Mr.
Abstain.
Wayner abstains.
And moving on to the items for board action until 7:35. Item number 3, authorizing a settlement agreement.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
I'll explain this briefly. This resolution authorizes the town to enter into a settlement agreement with Westage at the Harbor condominiums for the assessment of the property. This resolution was submitted by the town assessor and recommended by a special counsel for tax certiorari matters. There's been an open case for several years with the property owners, and we're pleased to come to an agreement. It's been a long time coming, and we feel it's a favorable agreement for the town. This will also avoid additional expenses moving forward. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 4, authorizing the assessor to attend the annual meeting and seminar on assessment administration in Lake George, New York, from September 18th through the 21st, 2016.
Motion
Motion.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Barnum. This allows the assessor to attend the annual meeting. It covers various legal topics, legislative updates, which, as we move into some of the changes regarding the STAR program, are plenty and always dynamic. So it's a valuable learning experience for our assessor. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 5, calling for a public hearing on the matter of granting a special use permit to construct a 2-story multifamily apartment complex on premises at 1700 and 1776 Hudson Avenue in an M manufacturing district.
Can I have a motion?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
Ms. Ivers, an explanation?
Thank you, Supervisor. This application is currently before the Planning Board for site plan review. However, because of the use of a multi-family apartment building structure, it does require a special use permit, which this board would grant. So the public hearing would be conducted before that application, before the board could be considered.
Thank you. Any questions or for Ms. Ivers or comments? I will note that the hearing will be set for September 15th, 2016 at 7:35 p.m., which is our next regular town board meeting, and it will take place in the Broderick Room at Town Hall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 6, accepting and referring an application for rezoning of 4225 and 4250 Culver Road.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Ivers, an explanation?
This is an application that's being advanced by Stantec Consulting on behalf of Providence Housing Development, which purchased the two properties and is seeking a rezoning to allow the development of senior housing that would add to the current senior housing that they have already in the vicinity. And the rezoning would be taking the property, rezoning it to R5, which is consistent with the adjacent parcel where the existing senior living facility is located.
Thank you. Did I already ask for a motion? I'm going to ask for one again.
Yes.
I did,
Yep.
okay, thank you. Just one question. Have the residents in the immediate area been notified, or will they be notified about the proposed, the rezoning application and the upcoming hearing?
Yes, there'll be, for rezoning applications, we actually, here at the town, expand our notifications so that residents within 1,000 feet would be notified when the item will be reviewed as part of a public hearing, either here at town board or in front of the planning board as well. So anytime there's a public hearing, the public will be notified. In addition, I'm aware that the Providence Housing folks did conduct their own meeting to alert the residents and hear comments and discuss the project.
Very good. Any questions? And I will note this resolution accepts the rezoning application and refers it to the planning board, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Hearing no questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 7, calling for a public hearing on the matter of rezoning 4225 and 4250 Culver Road.
Motion to move?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Ms. Ivers?
This is just the public hearing portion for the application for the rezoning, and that would be a public hearing that would be conducted next month at the town board meeting.
Thank you. And I'll note that will take place September 15th at 7:36, or immediately after the previous hearing that will take place. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 8, authorizing the town board to take action pursuant to Article 3 of Chapter 104, vacant and unsafe buildings regarding 42 Harrison Terrace, Rochester, New York, 14617.
May I have a motion to move?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Ivers, would you do me a favor and explain this resolution as well as the following two in whole? Thank you.
Absolutely. The next 3 resolutions are taking follow-up action related to the order to demolish and remove the structures at the properties referenced in each of the resolutions. The 30 days that have been provided for the owner or interested parties to take action themselves and remove and demolish and remove the structures has passed. And so now this resolution is authorizing the Department of Community Development to facilitate the removal. And the charges associated with that action at each property would be levied against the property tax bill.
Very good. Any questions or comments? I will note this is another step in the lengthy process, but necessary process to deal with a lot of these troubled properties. I thank Ms. Ivers, her staff, as well as our fire marshal for their hard work, and the board for the extensive review of these properties. And I believe it's a good thing, and we will continue to go through this process to address some of these troubled vacant properties in town.
So Carrie, just one question. Now, we're going to put this out to bid for the demo?
Yeah, so we'll be working with our town engineer. We'll put together a bid packet.
For all 3 together it'll be, or individually?
Typically, the bid packet would allow contractors to bid on each property individually, and then also as a combined. So that's something that's how it was handled earlier this year and last year for the 2 that were previously demolished and removed.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll note that the board has been briefed extensively on the condition of these properties, which allowed us to arrive at our assessment, and a subsequent public hearing was held last month. So the review has been extensive to get us to this point. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 9, authorizing the town board to take action pursuant to Article 3 of Chapter 104, vacant and unsafe buildings regarding 247 Winona Boulevard.
May I have a motion
Moved.
and a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
And item number 10, authorizing the town board to take action pursuant to Article 3 of Chapter 104, vacant and unsafe buildings regarding 178 Pine Hill Drive.
I have a motion
Move.
and a second.
Second.
And I'll just note, we originally took up a package of 5 homes to demolish. We're in the process of obviously moving forward with these 3 homes and continuing through the process of the other 2 homes, one of which was referenced to public input. But we'll continue to do our due diligence with those homes, and you'll see hopefully more in upcoming meetings. No questions or comments?
I'm just for the public at home to know that I'm satisfied, I think we all are, that the staff has diligently tried to reach these homeowners and getting some response from them. So we're satisfied that
Yes.
this is the perfect thing to do.
And staff really does a very thorough job, too, with analyzing these. The reports were extensive and, over a great deal of time, so.
And I will note again, I said this in the onset, if you know of a home in your neighborhood, perhaps we don't know about it, that it's vacant, please call the town, or there is a hotline set up by the state. We prefer you call the town, though, but you can call the state as well. Okay. Any more questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 11, accepting grant funding from the state of New York.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Mr. Kiley.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution formally accepts $10,000 worth of funding from the state of New York for some aesthetic infrastructure near the intersection of Hudson Avenue at Titus and Cooper at Titus. With this grant, we were able to secure through the state of New York $10,000, and this resolution formally accepts that and allows us to be reimbursed through this grant.
Thank you, Mr. Kiley. I will note that this grant was originally awarded in the previous decade, and I thank our staff for ensuring we were able to proceed forward with it in a timely manner before the offer expired from the state. So I'm glad we're moving forward. This will be a nice enhancement to the Titus Cooper neighborhood. The more trees we can plant, the better. Any questions or comments from Mr. Kiley? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 12, accepting grant funding from the state of New York and authorizing an interfund loan from the general fund balance to Capital Project Fund 367.
Can I have a motion?
Move.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Perticone. Commissioner Kiley, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution accepts grant funding from the state of New York in the amount of $500,000 for the construction of various sidewalks through town, one of which will be at the next resolution, the Titus Avenue sidewalk. This grant was, we're very excited to have this grant come into the town for construction of these critical, pathways for pedestrians.
Thank you, Bob, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Majority Leader Morelli and express on behalf of the town our gratitude for him securing this funding. Sidewalks are something that we would like to be able to fund. We'd like to maintain them, and sometimes we need assistance from outside of Arundecoit, the state, and this is money that will be put to good use. And, the resolution that we'll adopt next, I think we'll see that. These really do add to the quality of life in the town. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 13, authorizing the award of the Titus Avenue retaining wall and sidewalk replacement project.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Deputy Supervisor. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm very pleased to put this resolution to the town board tonight. With this resolution, we would formally accept the bid from Massa Construction to replace the retaining wall on the north side of Titus Avenue and construct a sidewalk which would connect Gardham to just past Allwood on the north side of Titus Avenue. As folks probably at home and here tonight that drove down Titus Avenue in the past, it's very noticeable that the retaining wall on the north side of Titus, right across from the ponds there, just east of Gardham, has been failing for years. With this bid package, we are going to award Massa Construction the contract in the amount of $421,462. That's almost $100,000 under the engineer's estimate. So we're very excited with the price, we're very excited with the vendor, and we're very excited to move forward with this project and have this installed before the snow starts to fly.
Thanks, Bob. And I'll just note, and then board members can ask the commissioner questions if he wants. That 421,000 or some dollar amount is not all town contribution. This is a partnership we're doing with the county. I believe the county is paying with the town, but the county's responsibilities are largely for the break wall. The town is responsible for the sidewalk construction, and town contributing a little towards the break wall. But so this won't take up the almost the entirety of the sidewalk grant from the state, but a part of it, and other projects we'll be able to explore and move forward with as well. Any questions or comments?
When do you anticipate this starting?
We would anticipate the notice to proceed rather rapidly. Town staff will actually be participating with the takedown of trees at the beginning of next week, with major construction probably first to second week in September. And to the supervisor's point, yes, the County of Monroe Department of Transportation has been a very good partner with the town here to assist with, really the identification that it's failing, and then monetarily to the tune of 90% of the cost of the wall itself.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the county as well as the county legislature for their support, with whom we have a representative from tonight, but we'll hear from him shortly. I'll note also this is very significant in the sense that having built the library, one comment heard through the duration of that project was the accessibility, walkability, and the ability for residents in West Irondequoit to be able to walk along Titus Avenue to the library, and this will afford them safe passage, and above all, it will remove a very unsightly wall. The tin looks like the side of a tuna fish can, and replace it with one that's aesthetically pleasing and hopefully goes along with the beautiful natural environment. Any questions or comments?
One last question. What do you anticipate the duration of the construction is?
We anticipate major construction to be concluded by the first week in November. However, things can arise in construction. There might be a delay. But Massa Construction is going to be gearing up, ordering materials already, from what I'm told from our engineer, John Papanetti, who's working with us on this project. So first to second week in November.
Thank you.
Very good. Hearing no other questions or comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, resolution is adopted. And Barbara, I believe we're moving backwards to our public hearing, correct?
Public hearing 8A 2016-1 on the matter of granting a special use permit to operate a car wash on premises located at 1365 East Ridge Road in an M manufacturing district.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Briefly, Ms. Irish, just an explanation of our role at the project, and then we'll hear from representatives of Mardath Enterprises.
Sure. So this application is before this board for the car wash component. In this zoning district, a car wash is one of the uses that's listed under the special use permit category. This application's already been, is currently under review by the planning board for the site design, and so this board is looking at the use that's being proposed. And just as a point of clarification, the car wash is one component of the overall site plan, and the planning board is reviewing the full application, which also includes self-storage. That's not before this board, though, just the car wash.
Thank you, Carrie. And we're joined tonight by representatives from Mardanth Enterprises, who will speak on the project, and then we'll allow residents to speak to the hearing as well. Good evening, sir. Would you please state your name?
Sure. Anthony Daniele, representing Mardanth Enterprise and the Royal Car Wash. That's before you as an application. And I'm here with Dave Cox from Passarone Associates, and certainly technically much more knowledgeable than I am for what you need to consider. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the supervisor, the councilmen and women, and the staff. We do business all around town. And this town has been a pleasure to work with. Very professional, very responsive, and certainly something that you should be proud of. So thank you. We look forward to doing business in Irondequoit. We haven't done business in Irondequoit before. Believe it or not, I actually grew up on Highview Drive for a few years of my early life, so I'm glad to be back and participating in the greatness of Irondequoit. So thank you very much in advance, and we're happy to answer any questions, and I'll let Dave Cox speak to the actual plan.
Sure. Mr. Cox, thank you.
Yes, so as Kerry mentioned, we're here for a special use permit for the car wash. The car wash is it's a low impact as far as traffic generation because it's more of a pass-by that people are already on the road pull into the car wash, use the car wash, and then continue on their way. And as far as the self-storage as well is not a huge trip generator. So, and this property's been vacant for many, many years, so it's really a great use of the property that maximizes the full use, but yet doesn't increase traffic on Ridge Road, very, very minimal, at least. We will have we're proposing cross-access so that as future developments come before, we can continue cross-access and maybe have access to the light to the east. The Royal Car Wash it's not your typical car wash. When you see the pictures of it, it's much nicer. The Daniele family, everything they do, they want it to look nice, they want it to feel nice. That's how they operate. So they keep up their landscaping. They make sure the building is looking really, really nice. All their staff has bow ties and a nice outfit that they wear. Just welcoming people into the car wash. It's very fast. That you can do everything through the pay kiosk. You don't have to have someone there trying to ask you a bunch of questions. They can push people through quickly, and it uses a technology that really allows the mass majority of the water to come off the car so that you don't have to do the hand wiping, which kind of slows down other car washes. And they use green cleaning products. They have water-saving features that save 40% less or 40% more energy or water than the typical car wash. They have free vacuum stations for the people that want to come use that. So it's really a nice facility. As far as on the engineering side, it's been designed to meet all the green infrastructure of New York State DEC. Lighting is all LED, so it has low energy use. And as Kerry also mentioned, we've been before the planning board once, and we're going to be back before them on Monday, hopefully seeking final approval for that. And at that time, I can take any questions.
Board members? One question I have, and the flow of traffic at car washes is always something we're mindful of. Is there a design element that allows, what you don't want to see is what we see sometimes down the street, with the Delta Sonic, cars backing up into the ridge. Is there a design element that helps to prevent that?
Yes. For one, this site actually has more car stacking than any of their other sites. And Ridge Road actually has less trips on it than some of their other sites, like the Monroe Ave site has much more traffic on Monroe Ave, and has way less stacking distance. I think at Monroe Ave Brighton made them put up gates, so that they could actually close the car wash if things got too backed up. I think they've had to do it once maybe on the opening kind of week or during a heavy season, but besides that, they haven't had to use the gates at all. And this has even more stacking, so they do not anticipate that at all. The other thing is, for instance, with Delta Sonic, they kind of hide the stacking behind the building, so you go through the pay, and then you turn around and then you see this humongous line of cars, where This is more not hidden, it's out in the open. You can see how many cars. So most people, if they use it, they see that if there's a lot of cars stacking, they're like, I'll get my car washed tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal right now. So we really don't see the huge stacking distances at the Royal Car Wash. And I said, because they don't have the hand washing or the hand drying and some of those other things, they can actually process more cars faster than Delta Sonic can.
And how many full-time employees would you expect, or just employee? What would your census be? Do you expect?
So typically at this location, we would have about 8 full-time employees and about 6 part-time employees. At any one time when the car wash is operating, there's at least 2 people on staff. During sunny Saturdays, there might be as many as 5 people on premise.
And what are the proposed hours of operation?
Proposed hours, I believe, are 7 a.m. to
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Every day?
I believe Sunday is less. I think it's 8 to 9. 8 a.m. to 9? 8 to 8. There you go. My director of operations.
Give or take an hour.
Yeah.
Just for a couple of questions. Now, the planning board, you're waiting for final site approval for them? Is it, you think that'll, one more meeting, you think Monday, and?
Yes, we should be
And
good.
is that for the whole, for the storage as well as the car wash?
Correct.
Okay, so like, this is gonna be like in 2 phases, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Right, you're gonna do the car wash now?
The car wash is going to go immediately.
Okay.
And then right after that is the single-story self-storage.
Okay,
And then the 3-story self-storage is probably going to be 3 years or so. They're
Okay.
estimating they really want to get full occupancy on the single story
okay.
before they move with the 3-story.
How many single stories do you have roughly? Units, do you know?
There are 7 buildings, and I think
Oh,
altogether.
for 1 story, you have 7,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're small. I mean, they're smaller
Yeah.
buildings. They're single story. They're like the long garages, and I think roughly about 180 units, roughly.
Okay.
And they'll range in size from 5 by 5, 5 by 10.
Okay. And obviously, they're in the
back,
the
correct.
back of the, okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you both. I'd ask you that you just stick around for the duration of the hearing in case any other residents have questions we might be able to refer to you on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other attendees wish to come up and speak for this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the hearing is closed. And we will now move on to Resolution 1.
There's 2 resolutions.
Yep.
Adopting a negative declaration in the matter of granting a special use permit to operate a car wash on premises located at 1365 East Ridge Road in an M Manufacturing District.
A motion to move?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Ms. Ivers, an explanation, please?
Sure. In your packets, you have Part 2 and Part 3 of the short EAF, in which we go through the series of issues and characteristics of the project, and we've determined that there are either no or small adverse impacts associated with this project due to the use is appropriate for its location on East Ridge Road. The site design is such that it will not impact traffic negatively at all. And because of the pass-by traffic nature of the business, it's not intended or expected to increase traffic trip generation at this location. And the one note I always add, large portions of the town of Arundequoit are located in what's deemed an archaeologically sensitive area in New York State, but the general accepted practice from SHPO is that if it's in a developed area or a previously developed site, it's highly unlikely that any archaeological sensitive features or artifacts would be encountered, and so it's not associated with a large impact. And so for that reason, it's a negative declaration.
Thank you, Ms. Ivers. Any questions? Comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Abstain.
Just note that Mr. Weiner abstains. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Item number 2, under public hearing, adopt a resolution in the matter of granting a special use permit to operate a car wash on premises located at 1365 East Ridge Road in an M manufacturing district.
I'll look to my left for a motion to move.
Move.
And a second.
Second.
Ms. Ivers, an explanation?
So in this resolution, it's granting, if the board deems that appropriate, the special use permit needed for this business to operate at this location according to our zoning code.
Can I just ask, Carrie, what necessitates the special use permit in an M?
So in our M manufacturing zoning district and our C business zoning district language currently, there are a series of uses that have been identified and codified in the past and identified as special use. And so that when a project includes one of these uses, it requires this extra step of coming to the town board to make sure that the use is appropriate for the proposed location. And then the site plan review that's contemplated by the planning board addresses the physical design elements and how the site functions. So it's just it's a product of the way our code is currently written.
I always like putting you on the spot. You never.
And I'm happy to answer. Hopefully that was a good one.
It's like an encyclopedia of town zoning. Any questions or comments? You know, I'll just we've now gone through the hearing in seeker, but I'll just take the opportunity to thank the applicant, Mr. President, and for being here tonight. I'll just note this is we welcome the car wash. It's going to look fantastic for me and the self-storage, and it's going to be a terrific business. I love the design, but for me it's a more symbolic in that lot, as I think Carrie referenced, has been vacant probably for almost 10 years. And you know, the willingness of a reputable business to want to invest their money in Irondequoit, but that site in particular is very, very encouraging. You know, we'll in the coming months be taking up further resolutions on other projects happening in Ridge Road and throughout town. But you know, it's going to be nice when you're driving from Pasta Villa to Marshall's to look to your right and see something of value. And I think the residents are these things have symbolic value too. The economic value as well, and there's other attributes to it. But I think for the town people, on behalf of them, thank you for investing in Irondequoit, and we look forward to seeing the project move forward. And I'm happy to support the special use permit. Anyone else? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
I abstain.
Oh,
And Pete abstained.
thank you. Sorry, Pete.
In this very worthy project.
Yes. Okay, we'll now move back to resolution number 14. Madam Clerk?
Accepting gifts for Arundequoit's July 4th celebration.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. And this is a common resolution we do, accepting gifts, sometimes retroactively, for gifts that the town receives in order to allow our July 4th celebration to be the grand spectacle that it is. And we thank our all the kind patrons in the community who help us execute that and make it a terrific celebration for all of our residents. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 15, accepting gifts for Arundequoit's Farmers Market.
A motion?
Move.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Perticone, and I'll just note that this is similar to the previous resolution. As we go through the year, we receive gifts, some in kind, some monetary, to help us put on the farmers market, which is taking place as we speak, and we thank all of our friends who help the town make this possible. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 16, authorizing the supervisor to enter into various contracts with vendors for youth and family programming for fall 2016.
Have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, and I'll note that this the board had the opportunity to review the contracts at our workshop meeting And I will also note that, these contracts help us execute our very successful and growing recreation program. And our comptroller referenced that revenue for recreation is up, but what that means is more residents are participating in it, and it certainly is a good thing. And we look forward to seeing it continue in the fall and into 2017. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 17, accepting gifts for the reconstruction of bocce courts at the Arundecoit Community Center.
May I have a motion?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
Thanks, Councilman Weiner. This resolution is made possible and necessitated by a generous gift from the Sicilian Sports Club of Arundecoit, located up on Ridge Road, who have donated money to the town, $500, to allow us to make enhancements and improvements to our bocce courts at the Pine Grove Community Center. It's something that we appreciate dearly, and hopefully soon after we will be able to commence work and make those a great asset for all residents. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 18, authorizing an agreement with Harper Danish LLC to perform actuarial analysis of the cost of other non-pension post-employment benefits of town employees as required by the Government Accounting Standards Board, pronouncements numbers 45 and 75.
All right, can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
I will take a stab at explaining this, and I'm sure our beloved comptroller will have modifications to my explanation. The Government Accounting Standards Board, commonly referred to as GASB, has certain rules which local governments are required to follow as it relates to accounting. GASB 45 has been into effect for almost a decade now, and there is a pending GASB 75, which require local governments to look at their long-term health obligations. We have retiree health benefits that the town extends, as well as health benefits that we will be incurring in the future, and we're required to conduct an audit of our current workforce and our retirees and estimate what those long-term obligations will be. And I think this was first necessitated by some of the harm with the financial markets in the late 2000s, and if anything, it just helps with our decision making and the impact that it incurs over the long term. Ms. Comptroller, did I miss anything?
Oh, you did not.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Oh, and I'm sorry, excuse me. I will note that an RFP review committee met with 3 respondents, to the RFP. The committee included the Comptroller, myself, Diana Marsh from the Finance Office, as well as Jason Vanette, our Director of Personnel. And we have decided to award Harper Danish LLC in the amount of $4,000, which will be budgeted through the course of 2 years, the award, and they look forward to working with the town, and we were impressed with their very hands-on commitment to this effort. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 19, authorizing the hiring of a constituent services coordinator.
I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. We are happy, I'm happy tonight to advance a resolution for the board. I do with somewhat of a heavy heart in the sense that it replaces a trusted town employee who left for another employment opportunity several months ago, Sarah Culp, who served in this position previously and was endeared and beloved by residents and town staff alike. But I'm happy to present someone tonight who we will be bringing on to serve as both a liaison to the community, but also help manage several of the initiatives we have going on in Town Hall. We have a lot happening here, projects, and we want to execute them with good management. And I'm pleased to present Patrick Pinkerton to the board. Patrick is somebody who has experience. You don't have to stand up yet. I'm going to go on for a while, Patrick. So, Patrick has experience working in government. He recently, however, also received his master's degree from Cornell. So we're bringing in an Ivy Leaguer. He's someone who values public service. After receiving the degree, wants to really get into public service right away, and we welcome that. He served in the Social Security Administration up in the North Country, so he has experience with, I don't want to say customer service, but working with stakeholders who rely on government in their lives. So I think he'll be a welcome addition here at Town Hall. I'm happy to present him, and will entertain any questions or comments.
I read through his resume, and I agree with you. Very well suited.
Oh, good.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Now you may stand up, Mr. Pinkerton. Congratulations. Very nice.
Item number 20, authorizing the hiring of a laborer in the Department of Community Services, Bureau of Public Works.
Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Kiley, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This position was posted per the CSEA bargaining unit contract, and this evening I am happy to put the name of Timothy Farabelle before the board for appointment as a laborer within the Department of Public Works. Tim has been a 5-year employee of the town seasonally within our highway department. Within the last 5 years, I think Tim has been on every crew that we have. If it's paving, if it's parks, and everything in between, Tim has really been able to assimilate into many different crews and work very efficiently. It's always a telltale sign of a good employee when all the other employees within the unit approach me and tell me how good of a job he's doing. I personally worked with Tim during the reconstruction of Vinton Road playground just last year, several different times, and I couldn't be more happy to put Tim's name to the town board this evening.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Sir, welcome aboard. Please stand and be recognized. Congratulations.
Item number 21, amending the lease for copiers in the Town Hall, Department of Public Works, and Arundecoy Police Department, as well as adding an additional lease for the Town Hall.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. This, as explained by the clerk, would allow us to lease 3 copiers. At the workshop, we were given a presentation by Mr. Atkins of the proposed lease agreement. He has deemed it to be the most cost-effective and ensuring the highest caliber of quality, and they will be welcome. One thing I've learned in the 4 months I've been here is we copy and scan a lot of things, so this is something that the staff here will help us function more efficiently and effectively. And I'll also note we are not amending the lease, we are entering into new lease agreements. Correct, Counsel? Mm-hmm. Thank you. She likes doing that every once in a while, just to make sure I'm on my game. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 22, authorizing the purchase of one 2017 Ford Police Utility Interceptor all-wheel drive vehicle and the associated appropriation transfer within the 2016 Police Department budget.
May I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Weiner. And I wish we didn't have to pass this resolution, but we are, because we purchased a police vehicle recently, and unfortunately, it was involved in an accident, and thankfully no one was injured significantly. And this is being paid. A replacement vehicle is being paid for by insurance recovery money received by the town, so it will not incur a new budget cost as a result. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 23, filling a Conservation Board vacancy.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Bob or Carrie, anyone? I'll just speak on it. Mr. Scott is somebody who has expressed actually an interest in public service and an interest in that which the Conservation Board has a purview over, and we're always very eager to bring in people who are enthusiastic about the town and want to contribute in that light. So I'm happy to advance this individual to fill that vacancy. And the Conservation Board is I will say, we it's a very energetic and engaged board, and we get a lot of people who help us with a lot of very important initiatives with regards to tree planting, conservation, and so I'm happy to advance Mr. Scott. Bob, do you have anything to add?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. I had the pleasure to meet Mr. Scott just the other week. He attended the Conservation Board meeting for the month of August. His background is a wide variety. Primarily, a lot of his experiences coordinating volunteers, and currently the Conservation Board is undertaking the large street tree inventory, analyzing and inventorying every one of our trees within the town right-of-way. We have many volunteers that are looking to at least volunteer some of their time to maybe do their street, and I think Mr. Scott's past experiences kind of assisting and coordinating volunteers is going to make a very good addition to the board.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Sorry.
Resolution is adopted.
Item number 24, entering into a release agreement.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. This resolution is necessitated by a work that was done at the library, but was not included in the initial scope of work. It's work that our construction manager for the project, Krista Construction LLC, did and performed, and as such, we are amending the scope of work and allowing myself to enter into a release agreement to provide funding that they are entitled to for the work performed. And I will note that this will be folded into our the bonding for the library, so there's no short-term upfront costs that we will incur. Any questions or comments?
We call this a release, but it's really a change order to their contract for additional work, or it's... But in essence, it's because of the fact that they've done additional work.
Yes, but part of the compensation of the town is
Right.
a release.
Okay.
Can you just clarify that explanation, Laura?
That, yeah,
Your microphone, please.
that a part of the return of consideration that the town is getting, in addition to the work that was completed by Krista Construction, is also a release by Krista Construction for any other potential or future claim they might have under the contract, which is significant and is important to close the book on this chapter.
Okay, thank you. Good. And I know Krista served with distinction and did a terrific job overseeing the project. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 25, approving the special event license for the Rochester Regional Health System Wellness Center's Heart and Soul 5K Run.
Moved.
Thank you, John. And a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? And hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 26, approving the special event license for Bill Gray's Outdoor Music Festival.
May I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
I will note this will take place on September 24th, 2016. It's a nice new addition to go along with the renovations recently made at Bill Gray's, which has been popular and drawing people down to the Bay Outlet, among other things drawing people down these days. But it's always great to get people down to Seabreeze area, our most treasured natural asset, and this will be a nice event.
And it's totally on their property? Takes place on their property?
As far as I understand, yes.
Okay.
And I know we had some questions about parking at the workshop.
Yes.
Any of that?
Yeah, I actually did speak with Bill Gray's, and they have an agreement. Seabreeze will be closed by then. Seabreeze closes the week after Labor Day, and they have I don't want to say reciprocal agreement, but Seabreeze has agreed to allow them parking.
All right, good.
That's what I understood. But I will say this, given, and I expect, congestion at Seabreeze, which is welcome again, but it will be less after Labor Day, and hopefully this will draw a lot of people down there as well. It's outside of the normal busy season, so it's a nice end of summer celebration. So I encourage residents and other people in the area to come down and have a good time. Okay. No more questions or comments, or Ms. Barnum? No? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution is adopted. And this concludes the body of our work for the regular town board meeting, August 18th, 2016. The next workshop meeting will take place September 8th, 2016 at 4 p.m. Our next regular town board meeting is September 15th, 2016 at 7 p.m. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Irondequoit's government access channel.